Whoops. I can't hear you. You're on mute. You're on mute. Karen, I can't hear you.
I'm muting myself now so you can sing.
Oh, got it. Okay. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Well, I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on freedom. I'm walking and talking with my mind just stayed on freedom. I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Now I woke up singing with my mind stayed on freedom. Yeah, I woke up singing with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up singing with my mind just stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind just stayed on freedom. Well, I woke up this morning with my mind just stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
I'm feeling so much love for everyone. And seeing your face just fills my heart. All your faces really fills my heart. It's like all those weeks we stood together in the cold or the heat or the rain or the chill or whatever on that sidewalk. It's like you just filled something up in me that gets overflowing when I see you. And thank you so much. And welcome to week number 172 of Tuesdays with Tillis. We are a community of nonviolent resistance. And my experience has been, since we have been off the street, we have not lost any of our momentum or our determination, or I really think our effectiveness. Somehow more minds are coming in, more contributions in terms of do this, do that, more knowledge, more all kinds of creativity seems to be freed up now. So let's just keep unleashing it. This is such a chaotic time, and chaos is a great opportunity for oppressive systems to dissolve and new ways of living to come in. So that's my welcome. We usually hear from the grannies right away, but I wonder, would we like to hear from Gerald first and then the grannies? What's your pleasure? Feel free to unmute yourself. Gerald, Gerald, I'm going to unmute you. What do you think?
Okay.
Do you
Well,
want
I can go ahead and go first.
Yeah. Tell us some background in case anyone hasn't been paying attention, and also just talk to us.
Sure, of course. First of all, good morning once again to the Tuesdays with Tillis family. I'm so proud of you all. 172 weeks consecutively staying on the grind. That's what it's really all about. Commitment and consistency. And you guys are the greatest example of that. And you're so great at it that some folks tried to imitate what you do during this COVID-19 pandemic. Some folks saw that that our Tuesdays with Tillis family weren't out there on Tuesdays as we normally are because of this virus. And some of them decided, okay, that they're going to go protest on Tuesdays in downtown Raleigh. And when they did it without the number one thing that we always think about with the Tuesdays with Tillis family. We think about safety first. Safety always comes first. And they went out and they protested with no regards to social distancing, no regards to wearing masks, no regards to nonviolence. And we even saw a couple of people get arrested over the last 4 weeks with the Reopen NC campaign that they had. And for a couple of those weeks, we actually witnessed people show up to protest with weapons and firearms. And, that's something that we never do. We never bring weapons and we never bring firearms to our protests and our demonstrations. It was also noticed that you saw people with flags that had, their flag poles, and they had their signs with the sticks. All those things that we know not to do, they were doing, violating the city and state ordinances for demonstrations and protesting. They really showed and demonstrated to us some of those things that that they were not prepared as we are when we get out and we go and protest and when we go demonstrate. But the addition of bringing weapons and firearms into the protest was an attempt to intimidate the community, an attempt to intimidate the civic leaders. It was an attempt to try to terrorize, our community and to terrorize our state. And so we all noticed it, we all saw it, and the biggest thing that we were able to see was the disparate treatment in between what happens when African American people protest and people of color protest, and when white people protest like this. It was clear as day. And especially with the latest example that took place this past weekend, where you had a group of people who had fake weapons intermingled with real weapons, and they marched around downtown Raleigh, about a dozen of them. They went into a Subway restaurant, ordered some food, and then defied the rules of the restaurant and ate inside of that restaurant. Truly intimidating the staff at Subway. So immediately, everyone was disturbed by what they saw. My phone started ringing. Our chat messages start coming through. Text messages start coming through. And it was very, very disturbing, especially to see that during Mother's Day weekend. I received specific messages from those mothers who live here in the city of Raleigh and throughout Wake County who lost children due to having a weapon, being shot by law enforcement within seconds of having a weapon. And they called, and it was distressful on this Mother's Day weekend. So saying all that to say this, yesterday I spent most of the day with our coalition partners in the North Carolinians against gun violence. And we began strategizing and planning for a response to this. A couple of things that we already began a development on. We got 2 very powerful, strong commercials that are going to go out that highlight key words and key messages about gun safety and gun violence prevention. I've worked with the executive director of the North Carolinians Against Gun Violence, and we got a statement that should be released this afternoon. And I'm going to highlight that main point that Weapons and firearms do not protect us from gun violence. What protects not from gun violence, but from COVID-19. Weapons and firearms do not protect us from COVID-19. Social distancing, wearing a mask, those are the type of things that protect us from COVID-19. That's what we need to be focusing on, protecting our family, protecting our neighbors, protecting those people that are on the front lines. That's what we should be encouraging each other about, not trying to intimidate each other. That's part of the message that's going to go out in that. What we're going to be focusing on over in the Raleigh Apex NAACP is another message, and that it's voting protects our democracy and not guns. So we're going to hit hard on the right to vote, because we acknowledge and recognize that what these guys are pretty much trying to set the stage for doing is to intimidate voters during the 2020 election. We've all seen it here when it came to election day and election time. We've seen it to where the folks show up with their Confederate flags and their trucks and their weapons, and they parade around the Chavis Community Center and things like these. Are things I've actually seen. They stand out there with their flags and take pictures of people and make posts on social media and stuff like that. So we've seen these type of intimidation tactics. So what we've been doing behind the scenes as well is communicating on all levels of every level of government, the local, state, federal, that we will not tolerate this, and we will not be intimidated by any of these things. And as some of you all just chatted and just noticed that you put up in there that here in the state of North Carolina, you cannot protest with a weapon. You cannot demonstrate with a weapon. You can't protest with a firearm. You can't demonstrate with a firearm. And so that is a message that we're all working on and making sure that get out there to the community. I do have a briefing and a presentation that I give on how to give a proper protest and how to participate in a proper demonstration. And so I'm going to use some of these pictures that we've seen, some of these videos that we've seen recently. I'm going to incorporate those into that, and I may end up doing that as a like a Facebook Live type of event here coming up soon. So the best thing I could recommend for you guys to do with TwTs and Tillers and how to help us to continue to shape the North Carolina that we want to see, the America that we want to see, is continue to do what you're doing and don't stop, and don't let these people distract us, because that's what it really is. It's a weapon of mass distraction. That's what it is. And we don't need to be distracted on what our goals are. And our goals is to make sure that everybody got the right to vote, taking care of those people, that they got a high quality of life and education and healthcare, all those different things and all those different issues that matter to us. And so with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it up and say, keep doing what you're doing, Tuesdays with Tillers. We're proud of you, week 172, and keep making a difference. They can't copy you.
You're still muted, Karen.
Karen, you're
Yeah, you're still muted.
Karen, you're muted. Oh, we didn't hear anything.
There you go.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just really want to thank Gerald. And if you're just joining us, I should have done a more formal introduction, but he's the president of the Raleigh Apex NAACP. And I'm so proud and happy that you're with us. And could you take a couple of questions? Would that be all right? Okay, so you can unmute yourself, and then people who have questions. Gerald, one thing that I wonder about is when we see this kind of thing that happened on Saturday, and at least one of these guys was picking on an African-American family, it was 11 or 12 white guys walking around trying to be intimidating. Is there something we can do to raise the issue that this is white supremacist terrorism?
Yes, and that is to continue to pick up that telephone, calling your elected officials, letting law enforcement officers know. I believe the city of Raleigh has. I've confirmed that as well, that they are investigating these group of people who went around and intimidated this family. Letting them know, let your voices be heard. This is not the time to be silent. We need to let our voices be heard and let them know that we won't tolerate this in where we live.
Okay, good. And do you think that we should be trying to work against the open carry law in North Carolina that makes it okay to carry guns around, or do you think we just need to get people to vote so we can get these assholes out of office?
I can tell you that the main thing that I've been promoting, that I believe that's doable, is to focus on things that deal with prevention and safety.
Okay.
And say, for an example, like storage. Storage is a very huge, important thing. One of the things that I can share with you all is that I don't know if you all remember the shooting that took place in the United Kingdom at Dunblane Elementary School in 1996 in the United Kingdom. I arrived in the United Kingdom in August of 1997. In December of 1997, the UK passed their Firearms Act. And from that point on forward, gun violence in the United Kingdom, it's become rare. We have to start thinking of better ways to make it harder for people to own guns and to make them more responsible when they own guns. Here in the United States, you can purchase a gun and you don't have to test to be able to qualify on how to use that gun. You don't have to know anything about it. You don't have to know any safety precautions or anything. You can just, if you have the money, you pass the background check, you get a gun. That just shouldn't be that way. We need to make people take classes, psychological examinations. There's so many different things that many other countries have already figured out that we haven't. So those are the type of things of what we're talking about: responsibility and storage, prevention and safety.
Michael Eisenberg has his hand up.
Gerald, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Mike. Good to hear you that you're out there still making a difference, my man.
I'm trying, man. Even though I'm sitting on my ass, I'm trying to do something.
You're doing a lot.
I have a question, and it's actually an opinion from you. There was a small protest with armed, and I don't know if those were the people that were in Subway, but they were armed, and they had signs, and the police told them they could not protest with weapons. So they put down their signs, and the police left them alone and said they were no longer protesting. Do you feel that was the proper response from the police, or they should have made some kind of statement?
Here's what I think, Michael. I'm going to put myself in the chief of police shoes. Those people came, they've been demonstrating with one purpose. That purpose is to either draw a reaction from either the general public, people like us, or either to get a reaction out of the law enforcement. And I think that if I was the chief of police, I wouldn't have advised my officers to give these people what they wanted. Was an incident that went viral, that went all over the news, to try to make themselves look like they were heroes. Instead, they stood out there. They went to the Confederate cemetery. What does the Confederacy have anything to do with COVID-19? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. So, I think they made them look as small as they really are. And so I think that I know that some people might not like that because of how there is disparate treatment with law enforcement, with people of color. We all acknowledge that. And I was in a conversation with the mayor of Raleigh as well about this, and she was very disturbed. She was very, very disturbed about what happened. But I understand the police perspective and why they didn't get aggressive with them. It's what they wanted.
Tara.
I just,
Oh, wait. Okay, go ahead.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And so I wanted to mention that also, like, if you are doing any work with, like, I work with the Raleigh Police Accountability Group, and this is something, like, we're having a meeting on Thursday. We have monthly meetings, and they're now on Zoom. And I can share if any of you folks live in Raleigh want to join, because I think it is, talking about what Gerald said about, like, trying to not maybe, give them, because those folks at the cemetery were looking for a fight. They were really kind of almost daring the police to do something. But also, like, that we can't ignore that there's disparate treatment. Like, if this had been people of color showing up like that, there would have been a very different outcome. And also, like, the police are supposed to do their job. They're supposed to enforce the ordinances that are on the books. And around the anti-abortion protests, they don't do that. Around these gun rights, they don't do that. And I think that there's ways that we can, like, be also talking about this as police accountability. Like, they're not doing what they're supposed to do in deference to these folks. And, like, that's also a problem as well, and including, like, how they are over-policing other communities.
What my approach is, and dealing with policing, is changing the standard. Getting to where policing is excellent. Because the police departments are not going to go anywhere. The concept of the policing is going to be here. Our goal is to get policing to where policing is excellent policing. That when they interact with us, when we look at what they do with us, is that excellent policing. That should be the standard for what it is. Not is this legal? Is this lawful? That's not it. Was this incident that you engaged with these particular people, was that excellent policing? That's the direction in which we want to go with. Our country has fallen behind some of the other advanced countries in the world: Italy, France, Germany, Spain. When it comes to policing, like when I lived in England for the 4 years that I lived there, it was the best policing experience I ever had in my life. I never felt threatened one time in being engaged with the law enforcement officers in England. They made me feel welcome. They made me feel like I was a human being. They made me feel like I was a part of society. And that's where we have to get to in America when it comes to policing. And the only way that conversation is going to change is we have to be the ones to lead that conversation. Create a whole new standard for what policing really means in our communities.
And Gerald, just to press that a little further, what should we be calling the police and telling them right now in response to what's happening with these guys?
Tell them how you really feel. Be honest. How does it make you feel when you see that there's disparate treatment? You call them and you let them know that it's disparate treatment.
Okay.
When you think that they could have done a better job, let them know that they could have done a better job. The more we speak, the more we get into their minds, and to get them to start realizing that they need to change.
I'd like to make a comment. With our group, we always received a permit for every week, and the permits were always granted, but there were several paragraphs of stipulations that we had to follow. And we were reprimanded verbally for any slight infraction, whether our signs were too large, if we had a stick on the sign, if we stepped out of bounds in any way. I think we won over our Homeland Security guys, but I think the policemen at New Bern, they're going to be happy to see us again. Because we protested with vigor, and we were loud, but we were peaceful, and we respected everyone, even the man who showed up with the sign Trump 2020. We never engaged with him. So I think they're going to be happy to see us when we come back to New Bern.
And I think that's a very important point to make, because it matters. It really does matter. You know, we need them and they need us. You know, so we have to get along with one another. And we don't have to be violent. We don't have to be adversarial as we fight for our freedom and for the values and the ideals in which we believe in. And what you saw with these folks, I mean, did you see the signs that they had? The one lady had a quote from the gates in Auschwitz in Germany.
Right. Right.
You know, I mean, what does that have to do with COVID-19?
Right.
I mean, so, you know, we don't do things like that. We're loving, we're passionate. We may come up with some of the best signs that are like witty, but but we're not demeaning people. We're not mean to people.
Gerald, it means so much to us for you to be here.
Thank you.
And all of us. And I thank you so much. And I hope you'll stay. I'm going to call on the grannies now to sing. And if you're able to stay with us, that's wonderful. We love you, we respect you, and we appreciate you.
I blocked this hour to be with you all.
Oh, that's fantastic. And it sounds like your main message is for us to keep doing what we're doing. And
it is. I mean, you guys get on Rachel Maddow. Can you get mad about that?
Okay, I'm turning this over to the Raging Grannies now.
Okay, and grannies will have to do their microphones, as it turns out. I'm going to get these lyrics on the screen, and we should be ready to go. All right. Here we go.
We're not giving up. We are not ever giving up. We know we're in this struggle for the long haul. We're not giving up. During this pandemic, we're not giving up. We stand with those who need support. We're not giving up. Nurses, docs, essential workers too. We're not giving up. We're not giving up. We are not ever giving up. We know we're in this struggle for the long haul. We're not giving up.
We're not sitting crying. We're not giving up. Resistance isn't dying, and we're not giving up. In deep solidarity, we'll sing out strong. We're not giving up. We're not giving up. We are not ever giving up. You know we're in the struggle for the long haul. We're not giving up. Hope you got that. I hope you got it.
Shoulder to shoulder, we're not giving up. We are not giving up. And if we must, we'll lead on forever. We're not giving up. We're not giving up. We're not ever giving up. I've lost my place. Hold on a second. We know we're in this struggle for the long haul. We're not giving up.
Tuesdays with Tom Tillis, we're not giving up. Fierce love always fills us. We're not giving up, and we will be here working hard to boot Tom out. We're not giving up. We're not giving up. We are not ever giving up. We know we're in this struggle for the long haul. We're not giving up.
Yay, team.
Brenda, could you just lead us in a quick happy birthday for Liz?
Absolutely. Happy birthday
To you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Liz. Happy birthday
to you.
Um,
Unmute yourself.
For her birthday, for everyone who didn't hear this before, Liz is asking for 65 for 75 because she's turning 75. And she's asking people to donate hand sanitizer to the farm workers, $65 containers. And we could go in together to buy one of those containers, but there will be information on the I gotta mute people. There'll be information on the chat room about how to do that. And if you do not get the chat after Tuesdays with Tillis, put your email in and Jewel will send it to you. And if you don't get the newsletter once a week, please put a little note in there and ask for it. It comes out once a week. And I'm very pleased to introduce our other special guest today, who is Erin Shipley from the Center for Popular Democracy, which is based in New York City. And she's going to tell us, as soon as I find her, she can unmute herself, about a project that she's inviting us to take part in.
Thanks so much, Karen. I hope you all can hear me. I know I'm a little backlit. So I'm actually, we're affiliated with the Center for Popular Democracy, but I'm actually directly with Audie Barkin's organization, Be a Hero. If you've never heard of us, we primarily do progressive advocacy around healthcare policy. We work with the National Nurses Union. We do a lot of work against pharma. We just launched a massive campaign against the pharmaceutical lobbies who are trying to take over corona treatments. We've been highlighting nurses and raising money. We've already raised enough money to get 100,000 N95 masks to nurses. And our next project is doing advocacy against GOP senators that are poorly representing people in their states, like Tom Tillis, and try to confront them and get them to vote for the next COVID aid package. So the next aid package is being introduced in the House, and it's actually going to be called the HEROES Act. And so, pardon?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we have a couple different things that are going into this campaign. We're working with folks on the Hill to try and make sure that it is as progressive and as robust as possible. But we're also collecting stories and trying to talk to as many folks in North Carolina as possible to confront Tillis with. So we're asking anyone who's willing to share their story about how they're coping with the crisis to talk to me or to interview us. The interviews happen over Skype. They take about 20 minutes. And what we're asking folks is, how have you adjusted to the crisis? How is it affecting you and your family? If you have healthcare workers or essential workers that are on the call and willing to share their stories, we would love to hear those. The whole point of these ads is going to be to create as much pressure from the press and from North Carolinians onto Tom Tillis to vote for the act as possible. The act is in the House right now and should be moving to the Senate within the next 7 to 10 days. So we are moving really quickly to try and get these filmed. And if you have a story or if you have any questions, let me know. And I can even drop my email in the chat. So anybody who wants to reach out to me can.
Please do that. And can we ask you questions?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
And happy birthday, Liz.
Um,
I don't know if anyone has any questions for me, but I can
I have
stay
a
on.
question. This is Galia Pliga. I'm with NC Now. I was wondering who's sponsoring the bill.
The sponsors on the bill that we're supporting were, oh my God, I was just on a call about this. It's Elizabeth Warren's bill in the Senate, and the House sponsor on the bill. The House sponsor, let me hear exact.
I love the name of it.
I know. It's very convenient for our particular organization. I just texted our Hill consultant, and she'll get right back to me.
and can you tell us a little more about what's in the bill so we'll know in our videos how best to support it?
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be the biggest care package. The only thing that I know isn't in it is it looks like the Paycheck Protection Act from Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal will not be in there. But a number of the other things that Elizabeth Warren was advocating for will be in there, including that there will be student loan forgiveness. There will be access to better health care provisions for coronavirus, and there will be increased assistance for folks who who the $1,200 didn't make a big difference for. There's going to be another economic stimulus that goes directly to U.S. workers that's actually built into the bill. And I can't remember what the budget cap on the bill was. Unfortunately, I'm not the person on the Hill. But the details for the bill should be coming out today or tomorrow. One of the reasons that we're filming before the details of the bill are trying to recruit before the details of the bill are public are so that once it's voted on in the House, our videos are ready to go. Our folks who are on the Hill are going to make sure that everything that's in there, because we know that we want increased PPE. There's going to be a bigger economic stimulus package. There's going to be student loan forgiveness. There's potentially going to be a moratorium on rent and evictions that should be built in there on some level. And there's a number of things that we're trying to do and reaching out to other folks in the national coalitions to try and get folks to not sign on to the bill unless those things are included. And the only big flag we have so far on what will not be included is the Paycheck Protection Act.
Okay. So we should let you know. And how long are these little videos?
The entire interview process takes about 20 minutes.
Okay.
I on there, and it's me and one producer from our DC office who hops on with me. And we have questions that guide you through anything that you want to talk about. And we're both looking for folks who have stories about how COVID has deeply affected you, or if you're just willing to talk to us about Tom Tillis's failure to represent you during this crisis. And we've done a little bit of work already. I don't know if anybody from Action North Carolina or Down Home is involved in any of these groups, but we did a little bit of work with them already on confronting Tillis. And I'm happy to, those videos are going up later this week, so I can share those with you, Karen, if you want to share them with the group as soon as those are live. And they're really quick, but they're pretty personal, and we're looking for folks who can be the voice against Tillis or have a personal story. So really, if you're interested or you want to help us out, we will take, we want to work with everybody.
I so appreciate you reaching out to us, Erin. We have been resisting Tillis since the inauguration, and I think we all have a lot to say about how he has failed us and our state. So thank you so much.
Well, we're hoping to be around for the rest of the cycle, spending some money and trying to get some trying to help with any organizing that's going on locally. So take my email down and feel free to reach out to me about other projects as well, because we are hoping to be around at least through the end of the election.
So are you mainly focusing in North Carolina or the Southeast region, or?
I actually handle all of our Senate politics right now. So I have all of the vulnerable GOP senators. We're, if you have heard of Be a Hero, we've done a lot of work against Susan Collins in Maine, and we're looking to expand that work into a couple of other states, North Carolina being right now my top priority for expansion. But we will be getting involved in like Georgia and potentially Arizona and Colorado as well.
Are you doing Florida at all?
Not as of yet.
Okay.
Okay, so let's flip that Senate. Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I asked Marcy to talk to us a little bit about the website, because the website's really terrific and I always forget to look at it. So Marcy, talk to us about it, and if you want to share it on the screen, you're welcome.
Alrighty, let me try this for the first time.
There's some weird sound. I don't know if it's you. I'm going to see if it's you.
This,
It is you.
yeah, it's the fan on this computer. I'm sorry, it's a little loud.
Oh, okay. It sort of is a little better now.
Okay. All right. All right, I'm going to try to pull this up here. Can y'all see that?
I do. I just want to say while you're doing that every Friday there is a group of people that meet around farm workers and, well, it started out migrants, immigrants, but it's sort of now farm workers and the poultry and meat factory workers. So please do this if you're in that group so people can see who you are. It's an amazing group of people. And we've learned a lot from each other. And one of the things that happened with the great leadership of Doyle was a letter that you'll see that's featured in the website. And also, I want you to know that the letter to the editor was published, if you didn't know that. That was so beautiful. Okay, I'll shut up.
Sorry, I seem to have backed myself completely out of Zoom. I don't even know if I'm still there. You are. Okay. I have my IT person coming in to help. I want the yes, Jesus, of course.
Marcy, we see you.
You see,
or we see someone.
Hi.
With blue hair.
Hey, Karen. Okay.
Oh, now you're starting. No.
Can you see the website now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Okay, so this is the website. I had to flip it around a little bit because it used to be the first page was all about our marches and, you know, how to get there, how to park, all that. And I don't want people to think we're still meeting down there. So this is the first page you get when you come to our website. And it's just a blog. And I'm putting anything up that we worked on as a group. So worker safety, I'm going to put the letter to the editor up there next. I think before that was food for children in Chatham County. And so that's just, you know, what we're up to now. We're doing more in writing and less in person. So it's the food pantries. We demanded emergency action from the legislature. Let's see. And then this used to be our first page, which is a little more lively. And here we, just a little COVID warning, but it was all about our protests and who we are, what we do, how to get to us. And then on this page, you can see it directs us to all the other parts of what we do. So our social media, our tiny letter, how to contact us, how to, you know, reach us on Twitter and Facebook and all that. What else? List of our press releases. Here are all our appearances in the news. So let's see.
Marcy, are those links to Twitter and Facebook?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. There's two sets of links. One is you can post our information, and the other one is you can go to our Twitter page. So let's see which is which here. So share with friends. So if I want to share that on my own Twitter page, that would be that one. If I want to go to Tuesdays with Tillis Twitter page. There we are there. So, and I've been, that's a pinned tweet there about the meat packing plants. And we got quite a bit of activity on the website from that. I'll post there and link back to the website and people follow it back. And so we had about 70 people look at that page, that letter. And I've just been tweeting right now what's been happening as we meet. So just as you're posting things in the chat, I'm putting it up here. So, oh, there's Cheryl.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool, you guys?
So do y'all have any questions about social media or website or anything like that?
I love it. It is very impressive. I'm looking at it on my laptop right here to me. It is just absolutely wonderful. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Marcy, this is Libby. In the website, is there a link to the letter that you all wrote to the governor and Dr. Mandy Cohen?
Yes, that's the first thing on the website right now.
Right.
And I'll switch that. Let's see if I can get back to it.
That's your original longer letter, right, Marcy?
It's, yeah, Doyle's letter, but yeah.
Doyle's, right.
Yeah.
Marcy, can we post can anybody this group post onto the Facebook page as a group?
We have two Facebook pages. We have, let's see here. We have a group and a page. And the group is for anybody to post on whatever they feel like. And it's, I think you have to join the group. Karen runs it, but you have to join the group, but then it's open to public posting from anybody in the group. Our page, only 4 of us post on it. Me, Karen, Mike, and Galia. And that really should be more information about Tuesdays with Tillis in particular, rather than just, everything that's going on in the community. So.
We can expand that if other people want to post on Tuesdays with Tillis about what we're doing.
Yeah, but our group has, I want to say about 400 followers, and our page has close to 700.
Wow.
Yeah, we're close to 2,000 on our Twitter feed. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we also have Instagram. I can show you Instagram real quick.
The people who have really built our following in social media are Mike and then Marcy. And I really appreciate them a lot. And Galia does a lot too with social media.
And Red Tea Raccoon, Ted Cochran, does a lot of promoting. And so that helps too.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is our Instagram. We also have a MeWe page, which has 7 whole followers. So thank you to those 7 people. I don't post a whole lot on that because it's only 7 people. And
Actually, that's you and me 7 times.
It's you're twice, Michael.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Sure. Feel free to send me things you want that you think might be of interest to our followers, especially on Twitter and Facebook, and I'll post them. So.
Can I just say, this is like a big job. This is, anybody who's on social media, it's a big job. So bravo, bravo, bravo. It's thank you.
Yeah.
Sure. Happy to do it. I enjoy it.
It's amazing.
Okay, so now I need to unscreen share. Huh?
Hey, we have 53 participants, by the way.
We have what? 53.
It's up to 53.
Oh, that's terrific. That's so terrific. So I want to just say a few words about Tom Tillis's so-called telephone town halls. Cliff, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's actually no way to ask a question on the so-called telephone town hall.
Well, it's my.
You gotta mute.
I see there's a lot of noise there.
Marcy.
Yeah, I made an attempt to get into the town hall.
Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I tried to type some questions in and none of them were read or accepted. It seems like there's a telephone number that one has to call in order to get the questions read, and I don't know what the number is.
Exactly. And I felt so stupid that I was thinking, oh, maybe I just missed the number or something like that. But we have no access to whatever that telephone number is. I don't think. Susan, yeah.
Here, I did have an experience of participating, and I typed in a question, and the question was about how he plans to protect workers in these meat processing and poultry processing plants. So that was my question, was specifically about the workers. He did answer it. He said, we have a question from Susan. He said, it's a great question. I'm going to answer it. But he didn't answer it. He said, I'm really concerned about the farmers, and I'm really concerned about the food supply chain. So we're going to have to do everything we can to protect the farmers and the food supply chain. And that was his answer. So, I was actually surprised that he took my question, but he did. But then he didn't really answer.
Yeah, he sort of turned it around and made
He
it
did.
a different question that you weren't even asking.
That's right.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah, and the thing that kind of freaked me out was that he says things on this telephone town hall like, well, if you're on the phone, press *3 to answer your question. But I think, once again, it's only his donors that have access to the phone number because it's not posted. Does anyone know how to call in? See, I think maybe Republicans know how to call in. So I'm not sure how much of a good use of our time it is. I do think that maybe me calling in, they're never going to take a question from me because they know me. But I think maybe flooding them with questions from people that they don't know might be a good idea. I don't know. I'm interested in what's the best way we can defeat Tom Tillis, and maybe let him know how very unhappy with him we are in case he has second thoughts about defending the president.
Karen,
go ahead.
I just wanted to say something. The other day, I did call Tillis's office, and I did get to speak to a guy, and I actually I remember I asked him about the town hall meetings, and he said that anybody could ask a question, just put it in the queue, and that it'll be read. But if somebody already asked a similar question or the same one, they just scratch it off because it's already been asked. And I just told him I didn't get an answer, but I'll call him again. Hopefully I'll get the same man, and I'll ask him for the number. Now, doesn't mean I'll get it, but I'll ask him. And I'm looking at the group chat feed. I actually sent Tillis a request for a teleconference, by the way.
Good.
So I'm waiting to hear from him. And you can actually send him a real email, but if you go on Burr's website to contact him, it's confusing because it leads you to, it looks like you're sending him an email where you want a response, but it's actually signing up for his newsletter and not actually contacting him yourself.
Right.
So he's another one we need to go after as well.
Yeah, so I thank you so much for that. I really like that you are trying to pursue this teleconference with Tillis. I think it doesn't hurt if you feel like it when you're talking to him or emailing or writing to him to keep demanding that he meet with his constituents.
You know what I noticed with both of them, a slight difference when you click on contact me or email me, there used to be a box at the bottom where you could check where it gives you the option of saying, yes, I want a response. But all of a sudden for both Tillis and Burr, you don't have that option anymore. It's gone.
Yeah.
A slight detail, but an important detail.
Yes. Yeah, so we just need both of them out. You know, Burr's brother-in-law, as well as he sold stocks and profited. So there's big demands for him to resign.
Insider trading.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, deep breath. Can somebody do a quick little update about the food Zoom that we do on Monday? I will, because we'll just be quick, but what we're doing is several of us are meeting at noon on Monday. Those of us who are doing that, raise your hand. And we're meeting just incredibly inspiring people, Moore County NAACP, Chatham County Food Bank, some others. We managed to get a refrigerator to the Mustard Seed Project this week, and we're working on a freezer. And there are amazing people that are trying to respond to so much hunger that will be continuing to increase. So we have an eye on that. We're trying to help out with that. I know Gerald and the NAACP are working on that as well. Mutual aid is a big part of activism right now. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we've done multiple things dealing around food security for families. We've worked with Southeast Raleigh Elementary School and identifying 400 families basically to put a meals in their household a couple of times a week. We are working with Martin Street Baptist Church with distributing food to the community. This weekend, we passed out thousands of masks, and we were stunned at how many people were so appreciative of those masks. And we're going to look at getting about 60,000 masks within the next couple of weeks, and we're going to be working with the clergy to get those masks out into the community, as well as continuing on with providing food. With this weekend, I think we provided food to at least 300 families this weekend. And I think we only had to turn away 2 vehicles. Vehicles started lining up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they didn't stop till 12:30. And I think we only turned away 2 vehicles. And I'm working with some of the grocery stores to get gift cards for any families that we have to turn away.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. We have a few minutes left. If anyone has anything brief, you could put it in the chat box or make an announcement, and then we'll sing the closing.
Karen.
I just want to quickly say, y'all, keep the spirit up, keep the fight up, you guys. Don't pay attention to these folks that are out there protesting today, that you see them, they're out there without their mask on, they're not social distancing. We're going to be praying for these people, because you all know what's going to happen in 4 to 6 weeks, what's going to be happening with these people that are protesting without any mask, without any social distancing, without staying at home. We know what's going to happen. So let's just stay prayerful. Let's stay mindful of what we're doing and stay focused on what your message is. Tuesdays with Tillis. We love you.
Yeah, I agree. Pray for them. And I also have been, I think I want to make up a little waiver that I can hand out to those protesters, inviting them to sign a waiver that if they get COVID, please do not take me to a hospital, because I don't want to overwhelm the system. And I really believe that my life is worth my tattoo or whatever.
Okay. We're going to sing our closing song, and then Susan's going to talk about, yes.
I just want to say something real quickly.
Yes.
Don't forget, for those of you who might have time, please don't forget that if you have a chance to listen to the oral arguments on the Supreme Court.
Yes.
I was listening to it before I joined the call. It's fascinating.
It is.
I got the sense that a lot of the justices were questioning Trump's lawyers, that even the conservative ones found it absurd. It's really worth your time to listen to what they're saying and try to interpret it. But let's not forget that C-SPAN is also covering Dr. Fauci well. So if you have a chance to watch or listen, it's be worth your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Our theme song.
Good. Look at that.
All right. Just give me a little license to change a few words at the end. And maybe I can follow this today. We'll see. Thank you so much, Karen and Randa, everybody. You don't like who's in there.
Vote 'em out.
Election day, it's all about. That superpower we got is called ballot box. If you don't like who's in there, vote 'em out. Vote 'em out. Yeah, vote 'em out. When they're gone, we'll sing and dance and shout. Yeah, we'll bring some good ones in, and they'll give us hope again. Because we don't like losing them, vote 'em out. Yeah, mailing ballots sure would help things out. Trump will put election day in doubt. Let's end deceit and fraud and restore that rule of law. Just need an honest chance to vote him out. Vote him out. Yeah, vote him out. And when they're gone, we'll sing and dance and shout. We'll bring some great ones in, and then they'll find us so again. Cause we don't like who's in there, vote him out. 2020 never mattered quite like this. Senate is a swamp that serves the rich. Let's end the graft and lies and get the White House sanitized. That nasty virus Trump. Vote it out. Vote it out. Vote it out. I want to hold your hand and twist and shout. Yeah, we'll bring some good ones in and make some hope, hold them out. We're praying hard that Trump and Pence stay well, or else the country's sure to go to hell. Imagine they get sick, we'll turn communist right quick. You never can tell. Vote them out. Yeah, vote them out. I want to hold your hand and twist and shout. You know, but we'll bring some great ones in and they'll find us hope again. So like who's in there, vote them out. Yeah, we don't like who's in there, vote them out.
Man, I needed that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just called Tillis's Charlotte office to find out what the secret magic number is. And after much circular conversation, she said it's a program, an automatic phone program that the United States Senate has for randomly calling constituents by county. And it is automated, so I guess it's kind of like a van type thing. It's automated saying, do you have a question for Senator Tillis? Based upon what you input, yes or no, then a staffer will call you back just to vet to make sure there's no duplicate questions. So she said, there's no magic phone number. And I said, who provides you that list? Is it by any chance the Republican committees of every single county? And she said, if you're trying to entrap me, it won't work. So I said, well, I would like very much to be called, and nobody's ever called in my house. Would you like my number? And she said, no.
I have been called. I was on one of those phone calls.
Have Susan lead us out.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you, everyone. You know, when there's an emergency, one of the things we do is send up a flare. And I came across a phrase I'd like to share with you. Soul flare. I feel like what we do during the week when we're not together is we're sending up our individual soul flares or our kind of committee soul flares and on our different issues, because there are emergencies all over the place. Food emergencies, worker protection emergencies, election emergencies, all the things we have talked about today, policing emergencies, protection of all our people, protection of the dignity of human life emergencies. And we're all sending up our flares during the week, but when we come together, we create a pillar of light. And this is our time to gather together and share our flares to create this pillar of light that will lead us back down the mountain into the valleys of the week ahead. So take a moment. Let that pillar of light shine on you so you can shine on in the week ahead. I bow to you and the light within you.
Thank you so much. Everyone's unmuted. Have a great week. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Gerald.
Take care, everybody.
I still with y'all.
Granny. Happy birthday, Liz.
Yes, happy birthday, Liz.
Happy
birthday.
Thank you,
Awesome. Keep up the wonderful work.
Thank you for all the work.
Thank you, Marcy.
Thanks, Marcy.
Organizers, but everybody.
Karen and Randa.
Everybody. Thank you, Karen and Randy.
Thank you, Gerald.
You all be safe.
Yes, you too.
You too.
Hey, Randy, your hair looks cute.
Oh.
Yeah. Yay, Jesse. Yeah, Bessie. Wow.